Today I want to make a video where I repair 3 items with Bondo. Now I've got a video where I repair stuff with fiberglass, and it's superior in many ways, but in one way it's hard to work with because it's this gooey liquid and it drips. Bondo is a paste and it's similar to fiberglass, but it's really not made for they don't make sheets of Bondo like you make a sheet of fiberglass. It's for filling dents in cars, and you can sand it super smooth and make it look like metal. Paint it, it looks like smooth metal. Now the first thing I want to repair, which is going to be the most difficult, is this. I broke this off. I was drilling this hole in drywall, holding it like this, and it caught, which is not a big surprise, but broke that handle. And so I want to repair this handle, or try to, just to see. But it's going to be difficult for Bondo because it really doesn't have. It would be easier for fiberglass as far as the strength characteristics, but fiberglass is so hard to work with. I'm going to try and do it with Bondo. I also have a flashlight that I repaired previously with fiberglass and broke in another place, and I don't know where it is at this minute. And then also I have a pair of glasses. So first I'm going to set about mixing up my Bondo and see about repairing this. I'll give you a little quick midpoint, and then we'll see how it goes. Here's the first problem I run into. It doesn't tell me how much hardener to put with resin. And what would be helpful, because usually this is red and this is gray, so you mix it and you get a color. A little color chart would be helpful, but I don't see one. And the other thing is I got no mesh with this, so I'm gonna have to hunt up some mesh, nylon mesh somewhere. So I rough it up a little bit with sandpaper, and then I put it back exactly in position. And then I'm guessing when you use this mesh, it's kind of easy to work with. Oh, I just found these instructions on the floor. It says, let's see, for a golf ball size amount of filler, squeeze out 1 1/4 inch strip of hardener. Alright, so that's probably about right. Golf ball size of filler, 1 1/4 inch strip of hardener. Here's something odd. They didn't fill the can up. It's only about 2/3 full. So that's how I'm going to call a golf ball size of gray stuff and 1 1/4 inches of red stuff. So it's a little bit easier to work with than fiberglass, but it's not ideal. It's sticky, which you want, but what I think I'm going to do though is more or less, one thing, if you put too much hardener in, it'll harden up while you're working with it, which is interesting, and I think it's kind of hardening right now. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it like that. One thing with this, you can sand it, I just remembered. If it's green, particularly if it's green. So I think what I'm going to do is let that harden up and cut off some of the rough edges, and then mix up another batch and try and smooth it. Put another batch on smoother maybe. So actually it worked pretty good so far. One problem is it stinks a little bit, and I'm doing it in the basement, and the air goes through the house. I could probably do it in the garage. You know, it's not too cold probably in the garage. But I think I'll just knock down some of this with a knife. I'll just run a knife along here and knock down some of those points, and then spread another layer. And I need to get a little nicer spreader than this was. And then I'll be able to smooth it pretty good. I think it looks like it's going to work. Again, it'll probably break. If I do the same thing again, it'll probably break off. This handle really isn't made for that kind of torque. It's actually, there's supposed to be a handle right here for that. But I don't know where it is anymore. Really, I think what I'm going to do when I cut these, I have to cut some more of these. I think what I'm going to do is just mark it. Use this to mark the diameter of it, and then I'll cut it with something else. You know, if this tool had like if it was continuous, really they sell tools that are a continuous circle, but they're not this diameter, and I want this diameter. I don't want it, it's bigger, I don't want it bigger. Actually, too, you know, even if I actually have a hole saw that's a full, I think is the right size, like this. But when you get into that size, even like this thing, if you twist it off center, it'll bind. So there's a second coat. I think this is going to work good. It's much easier to work with than fiberglass. I made a paddle out of this coffee can lid, which isn't ideal, but better than the stick I was using before. I found something else to repair. This trailer light, I busted that light off, and I'm sure that'll repair just as good. Scuff it up with sandpaper. This is a belt sander that broke, and I'll repair it more or less the same way. Just put a little bit of this in there, a little bit of this mesh, tie it together a little bit. Nothing serious. I don't think I'll have to work very hard. I can't get that unpeeled to show you exactly what it looks like. Where is it? Oh well. It's really not as good as the mesh. I maybe should get I'll get the other mesh maybe. Here's the good mesh. It's a little harder to work with because it unravels, but just push it into the goop basically is all you can do. This is proving a little trickier than I thought because I didn't make plans on how to support that before I started gooping it. Now where'd I do with my... Now I lost my little net that I was going to use. Here it is, I found it. So I'm just going to push it into the goop. One thing too is the mixing is critical to get the right amount of hardener. If you get too much hardener, it goes too fast. If you don't get enough, it's even worse because it never hardens. That's bad. Yeah, this I put a little too much in. You can see it's kind of pinkish. It's setting up, and I'm not really ready for it to set up, but it's all right. It's going to have another coat anyway. So here's this flashlight that I repaired with fiberglass, and see it's broken in another place now. So here's where I repaired with fiberglass, which is a good repair. Not very attractive because it's clear. You can see this right through it. You can see how it drips because it's liquid. It's completely liquid. But it is smooth. I've sanded it and it's smooth. And it didn't break. So this wasn't repaired. This broke. So I'm going to repair this with Bondo. And we'll see. It looks to me like that Bondo is going to be just as good and somewhat more attractive. One thing that makes Bondo is better than fiberglass is you can use this kind of a tool and just kind of sand it. You can sand fiberglass, but you got to sand it like more like metal or paint or something, you know, with sandpaper. But this tool, you know, will take off bigger hunks and you know, see how the chips are bigger, so it doesn't make all kinds of dust, and it's quicker, and it knocks off the sharp edges. One thing about this type of mesh, you stick it on. It's got a sticky side, so you can stick it on before you put the goop on. So we'll try that. I might cut this with the scissors so it lays down flat. Be sure you mix it real good. And also, you don't want to use your spreader for a mixer, your mixer for a spreader, because this will have some, I guess you could. But generally you don't, this here will never harden. This will harden, so you only want this part. I actually mixed a little more than I really needed, so I put it on kind of thick. I got one more thing after this. And believe in this, whether it's more attractive or not, I don't know, actually, now that I look at it. But the glasses will be interesting. So these are the glasses that I'm thinking about. Well, I'm going to repair them with Bondo. What I was thinking about is this side is kind of, I got a screw in it, and really this screw I think it's focusing on the wrong, it's focusing on the glass, but there's a screw in it, but it's not proper. I need a longer screw and put a nut on the bottom, but I'm thinking rather than do that, I'm gonna do this side Bondo. Maybe I'll just do both sides Bondo, kind of have it matching. This side's completely broken. You can't repair it. You could weld it, that's about it. You can't, that's molded. Yeah. And they're kind of nice glasses. So, I'm going to Bondo them. The hard part with this is going to be getting it lined up right. So, I got a piece of tape, clear tape on this side, and then it's holding this with that little rubber band. I'm just going to glop a little bit, just make a little bit and glop it on there, and do two, and then after it hardens, then I'll do more. I put a lot on because I figure I can trim it off. I'm actually not sure what to do now because I was planning on gooping it up around the back too, but as it is, it kind of works the way it is. I'll just drop my glasses. They're glasses. It kind of works the way it is. And if I goop it up here, it's going to be more noticeable. I could taper this, and then I can, this side, instead of gooping it, I can put a longer screw in it. So I might be done with these glasses for now. I was going to paint this. Well, I got spray paint, so let me paint this real quick and try and make it more attractive. And then I'll be done. I'm painting this flashlight so it'll look really good. Incidentally, it's a good flashlight. I think I got it at a low price. Maybe they knew the body wasn't good on it. The light's really good. So that's my video. I think 3 things I repaired. This, actually I think I did 4, but I can't remember now. That handle, my glasses, and this. There was something else too, wasn't there? Oh well, you remember better than I do probably.